So, how I came into possession of this comic is an interesting little story. I was at a comic shop during a zombie festival, and I was there late at night. This thing kind of went on from 3 p.m. to 10. I was in the little comic book shop on Main Street while this was going on. And as I was paging through all the comics, I had seen this whenever I went to this local comic book shop, my stomping grounds, if you will, and I had some extra money on me. And people kept saying, go read Rat Queens, go read Rat Queens, go read Rat Queens. And I'm like, I'll pick up Rat Queens. And I was damn near close, too. I was very close to getting this book. But then I encountered a beautiful woman in dressed as a zombie girl. And she was the one who said, go read this book. And ladies and gentlemen, when a beautiful woman dressed as a zombie with half of her face torn off and saying that she's a roller derby star tells you to go read a comic, you read that comic. So, yes, this comic was bought out of being completely smitten with a beautiful girl, and I have no regrets, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, no, the only regret I have is that I didn't get the girl's number. I completely forgot. So that's really the only regret I have. The comic, on the other hand, I have no regrets of buying, because one, Image knows how to... knows exactly how to, get you. It's kind of like your Image is kind of like a drug dealer when you think about it. They give you a little hit and show you how awesome it is with it, and say, oh no, man, it's cheap, it's real cheap, here you go. But then you come back for a second hit and it's a little bit expensive. Not as mind-numbingly expensive as, Marvel or DC or dare I say even, IDW, as much as I love them. Image knows how to get their teeth in someone. Not just because of the, $10 trades. It's also because of, there's some damn good writing. And this title right here proves how amazing this title is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my review of Rat Queens, Volume 1, Sass and Sorcery. Now, Rat Queens, the best way I could describe the comic of Rat Queens is if you put Black Lagoon and all of its gore and dark humor and kind of and kind of a little bit of not so much social commentary, but more like its gore and dark humor, and you put that kind of that element in the world of Fairytail. That's Rat Queens. So yeah, it is literally the best way I could describe it is Black Lagoon mixed with Fairytail. Yeah. Do I have your attention now, bitches? So the story of Rat Queens is a mercenary group of 4 females known as the Rat Queens who are part of a mercenaries guild who are more or less they're doing more harm than good in the kingdom of Palisade. And they're working for a man named Sawyer, who mostly has a very dark humor. He has a very dark past, is what I'm trying to say. The Rat Queens consist of Violet, Hannah, Dee Dee, and Betty. These guys are these 4 girls are completely badass, and I can't pick a favorite out of all of them. I usually have that one character I really like, but yeah, they're all amazing. Every one of them is amazing. Betty is a creature known as a smidgen, who I guess you could say is like a hobbit, but she's a drug dealer in here. Her people are very small and usually mistaken for children, but Betty is an alcoholic. She sells mushrooms and spells that can get you high. Dee Dee is a spellcaster whose parents worshipped a floating squid god. I'm not even joking. Violet is a dwarfen warrior who left her home, and apparently, from what we learn, is that she stole something from there that was very important. And Hannah is the daughter, a half-elfin necromancer. So it comes up like your typical sheet on Dungeons and Dragons, really, and that's what it is. It's kind of it does have that Dungeons and Dragons feeling where it's really more like you're having kind of a fun romp in a way. But also, let me say this. This is the first time I've ever seen the word cunt in a comic, and it's not bleeped out. Like, it is shown in big words, and I was like, I mean, I know it's probably been used in other comics before, but this is the first time reading a comic where I see that word in comics, and I was like, So Image doesn't bleep out words. And let me say this. This is in no way stretch of the imagination a kid's comic. Do not give this to anyone under 10 years old, or even don't even give this to. I would say the best age would be 13 to 14. Do not give this to anyone under 12. Seriously, don't give this to anyone under 13. This is not a comic for young minds. This comic is bloody. It has so many swear words that I think even man, I'm trying to think of I think Arlie Ermy would blush reading this comic. The Arlie Ermy from Full Metal Jacket would blush reading this comic of how much swearing is in here. There is a lot of mentions of sex, not shown, mind you, not shown, but it is mentioned heavily, especially between the character of Sawyer and Hannah. It's mentioned throughout that comic, and also, like I said, this comic is bloody. I mean, some of the comics feel like the blood is leaking off the pages, but it's kind of done in a way that you're kind of laughing as well. Like, there's a moment where a troll army shows up at the city gates, and they're like, "Where are the leader of this troll comes up with this horde of goblins and trolls, and she says, where's the rat? Are you the goddamn rat queens?" And to which Hannah replies with, "Fuck yeah, we're the goddamn rat queens." And I'm like, I love this comic. We also have a few supporting characters that are amazing as well. We have Braga, who is a orc warrior, and I like this that we have when we see orcs in here apparently orcs are not your stereotypical orcs are evil. Nah, they're more like mercenaries. They're more like brawlers, and they're treated like an actual citizen. And Braga is this gigantic troll woman who is pissed off because her favorite boob got deflated after being hit with an arrow, and she is awesome. There's also a few other characters we get to know called the Four Daves. I don't want to go further than that. And we also get in this volume we don't really get much about we only get little tidbits of the Rat Queens, and it really tantalizes you to continue reading. Like I said, Violet stole, pretty much dishonored her dwarven family. Hannah is the daughter of elven necromancers. Dee Dee is from a group of parents who worship this thing called Nashagoth, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is this Lovecraftian voodoo god demon that's a giant squid in the sky that bestows magic after you drink the drunken blood of a man who's drank so much alcohol that he's to the point of dying. That's an actual thing. And Betty is this adorable little alcoholic drug dealer. Man, this comic is so insane, and the artwork, oh my god, the artwork is amazing. It really feels, it is so good. I love the artwork, and I also like how these four female characters, and even all the female characters you see, are very unique in their own rights. A lot of these characters do not look like your stereotypical comic book characters that all look hot and beautiful and sexy, even though they're covered in blood and dirt. They look very different. In fact, it's kind of mentioned that Violet once had a beard, but she shaved it off. But in all regards, this is a great comic. I think you should really pick it up if you want something out. Always look to Image for something amazing, and look no further than Rat Queens. If you're looking for like a medieval gore fest with a whole lot of laughs, I mean, there are some moments in here where I generally busted out laughing while reading this comic book. It was that good in terms of humor. And yeah, the story itself is this first arc story is pretty straightforward. All the mercenary groups are being hunted down by assassins, and how the Rat Queens are trying to figure it out. That's really the story in general. pretty straightforward, and then along come this troll horde, and it's rather hilarious how it all goes down. Really, it's again really fun comic, but I would not recommend it for a younger audience. It's just so much fun. I really don't want to give too much away because it's a comic you have to read for yourself to really appreciate. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I also not only got this, but also East of West Volume 2, so stay tuned for that as well. But anyway, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys later.